Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers. Got a big one today, a big glass, because it's a big video today. There's lots of questions here from yesterday's little clip I put out asking you guys to post some questions. And the video might be a little long, and I apologize. I know some people don't have time to watch long videos and whatnot, but you can always, watch it and like some of it today and then some of it tomorrow and then some of it the next day. Or you can speed it up. There's a little thing, you just speed it up, watch it at twice the speed. And then it's only 15 minutes long instead of 30. That you can tell me whether I sound more like Theodore or Alvin. Okay, so let's get to it. First off, again, I got questions here. I got 170 questions yesterday from that video, a little clip I put out on my iPhone. So obviously I can't answer them all today. So what I did was I chose the questions that were posted in the first hour of the video being live. Those are the questions I'm going to answer today. So if you got in there early, then your question will get answered. I'm not skipping any questions. So we've got them all coming up, and I will do other videos during the course of the next week or so that have the remainder of the questions. And if you don't want to watch those, that's fine. I'll put FAQ or quick Q&A or something in the title so you'll know if you want to watch it or not. Okay? Okay, so first thing before we get to the questions, as you can tell, I'm over my sinusitis. Finally. This thing's going around, and a lot of people are having trouble getting rid of it. It's hard to get rid of it. Even if you spend one night drinking some beers or something like that, the next day it's right back. It's like you've got to fight this thing tooth and nail. So I fought it for a month and a half, and finally, I was getting frustrated, and I was going to shoot myself in the head, basically, because I couldn't deal with it. Waking up in the middle of the night, gasping for air, and not being able to talk or breathe. It's really bad, and I finally thought, okay, time to call the doctor. I'm really stubborn when it comes to calling the doctor because it's my opinion that our bodies should have the capabilities of dealing with these things themselves, But, there are times because of the crappy food we sometimes eat and, the lack of exercise we get and whatnot, you got to go. But I didn't have to go because the last thing I decided to do before that was to try a home remedy that some of you suggested, hot toddy. And if you don't know what a hot toddy is, you can look it up online. I'm sure most of you do, but it's a drink. It's made with whiskey and lemon and some water, and it's some honey or some sweetener, and you can put other things in. But there's a ton of ways of making it, and you heat it up, and it's a hot drink. So I thought, I don't know why this thing would work. I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff mixed together that I drink every day anyway, not the whiskey, but the other things. And I thought, what the hell? I'll just prove everybody wrong. This thing ain't going to work. Well, guess what? I made myself a hot toddy, and the next day, I'm as clear as a bell. So you tell me what you think. Coincidence? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Next time you're sick, try a hot toddy. Just look online, look on YouTube, figure out how to make it. If you want me to show you how I made mine, let me know, and I will do it on Homebrew Wednesday one week. I'll make a hot toddy. Oh, God, the burp guy's going to love me this week. The burp guy, the guy who doesn't like my disgusting burps, he can't watch. So anyways, on Homebrew Talk. So that's that. I'm clear now, so we're good. Hot toddy. All right. Next thing I want to show you is this. Oh yeah, babe. Look at that. Never been opened, still shrink wrapped, never been played, never been nothing. And so now I already have one of these, a copy of this record, and it was bought like 6 to 8 months ago, so it's not that old. It's actually quite new, but it got damaged somehow, and I'm very careful with my vinyl, believe me. If you watch me on my broadcast, I'm like, sanitizer, don't touch it, don't breathe while you're handling it. I mean, I'm very careful. Somehow it got damaged, sliding it out of the cover. There's a piece of dirt or something in there, and it scratched it. A little scratch at the beginning of it. So I happened to mention this on my live broadcast one night, and one of my listeners, J Muff, decided to send me a new copy because I'm such a suck. I was so upset. So thanks, Jay. He sent me a brand new copy. It's a 180 gram re-release, brand new. It's going to sound great. One of these days I'll open it and we'll play it. But J Muff is the guy who sent me the Mr. Beer kit a few months ago. And so I could give that a whirl, and we did that on YouTube. I'll put a link to that down below if you want. And he also does a live broadcast just like me. Get the hair out of the way. He does his live broadcast on Saturday afternoons, I believe, at 4 o'clock. Now, I could be wrong about the times. Jay, you got to post your stuff on your website, man. When do you cast? When do you do your show? I believe it's Saturday at 4 o'clock, but Eastern. But I could be wrong about that because he's on a different time zone than me, so I'm not quite sure. But go to his channel. I'll put the address at the bottom of the screen. Go to his channel and follow his channel. And the next time he goes live, you can tune in. He's a great DJ. Does a great job. Does kind of the same thing I do, same sort of thing. And he does an excellent job. He's actually a professional DJ, so he's done bars and clubs and things. So he's good at it. So and you'll enjoy his show. And he's a great guy. Okay, so thank you, Jay. I don't even know if I want to open it yet. I'm just cherishing how that is. Okay, next. Okay, what are we doing? I think that's all we've got as far as that goes. Now let's get into the questions. Okay, just my hair is bugging me. I need a haircut. All right, so 30 questions approximately. Broke it down to the first hour of the video being posted yesterday. Anyone who got in the first hour, your questions are going to be here. After that, I'll be doing subsequent videos. All the questions will be answered, as long as they're, reasonable questions, of course. All right, so these are in the order that they were posted. Let's get started. Here we go. I've got my timer going. We're already 7 minutes in. My God. Okay, if the original... I need my glasses. What the hell? There. If the original gravity is a lot higher than the kit says it should be, how do you get it closer to the original gravity stated in the kit? So if you're doing a beer kit and the gravity is higher than it says, well, first of all, more than one hydrometer. Okay, you need more than one because you've got to check the accuracy to make sure that they're both the same. All right, so get the glass hydrometers. Even if you got a plastic one with your Cooper's kit, I would go get a second one just in case, okay? The glass ones are more accurate. Secondly, if you need to decrease the gravity of your wort, you're going to increase the amount of water that you're going to add to it. So just add more water. Add a cup at a time. And just drop your give it a stir, drop your hydrometer into the wort, and see if it goes down to where you want it. And that's how you do it. I mean, if you're following the instructions that came with the kit, and you're adding the right amounts of sugars and adjuncts and whatevers, and you're still getting the wrong readings, check your hydrometer, check your water measurements to make sure that you're putting the right amount of water in. Okay, the more water, the lower the original gravity is going to be. Hi, Craig. Let me make sure that's... Okay, yeah. Hi, Craig. Do you have a recipe for an all-extract version of the CraigTube Porter? I am not ready to get into using grains just yet, so if you can suggest a way to make it an approximation of the original version using extracts and other adjuncts instead of grains, I would really appreciate it. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. No, I don't, actually. I don't have an all-extract version of the CraigTube, or what's been called the CraigTube Porter. But I have a suggestion. I'm going to put a link down in the more info section down below, or the whatever they call it these days, info section, to a post or a thread on homebrew, or sorry, on a post on 17crew.com that talks about this exact thing. Basically, what you do is you get Beersmith. Okay, there's a 7-day free trial for Beersmith there's other programs out there, but Beersmith has, we've got some little additions that we can plug into it that actually include most of the Cooper's kits. So you can actually brew with those kits and add things and get accurate readings on Beersmith and figure out what exactly you're going to get. So if you get Beersmith, a 7-day free trial, and you should all have a program like Beersmith anyway. And I don't work for Beersmith, they're not paying me. So this is just a freebie for them, a free advertisement for them. Although if they want to, send me something, that's fine. But that's not what we're doing here, okay? I have it myself. I bought it. It was $30, and it's a great program, okay? If you're going to be a home brewer, you should have a program like Beersmith. There are other programs out there, but that's the one I use, okay? That's just the one I chose, right? So, and then you can plug my recipe in to Beersmith, and then there's a thing that converts it to an all extract brew. Give that a try. I haven't tried it myself, but that's probably the best way to get a close approximation to that recipe that I created a year or so ago. Okay. Hi Craig, great channel. I just subbed. Thank you. And I am big into all types of fermentations, yeast cultivation, good bacteria for foods, yeast, alcohol conversion, etc. Would this be something you would create a vid about? I cut some of these short too, just to get to the point, right? Yes, you know what? I've done coleslaw. I made coleslaw, natural food fermentation. All right, just cabbage and salt. And that's all I added, and it fermented, and it made beautiful coleslaw, that was about 3 to 4 years ago, and I still have some in the fridge. It tastes amazing, still preserved, even though I've opened the jars. I also did fermented vegetables, and they lasted about a year in the fridge, and they would have lasted longer, except that I ate them. They're good for you, they're probiotic, and they're just very good for your digestive system, and for you. And they also keep for a long time. So I did that as well. And they're all gone now. I ate them all. So if you want me to do any of those things on YouTube, please let me know. And if I get enough responses to that, I will do, not sure I'll do the coleslaw again, because I have still quite a bit left, but I'll do the fermented vegetables. And they're delicious. And you mix them with some vinegar at the end when you start eating them, and they're good for you, and they're good. That's it. So that's that. Next thing we have here. Hey, Craig, thanks for your videos. How much of a difference do you notice in flavor quality when doing partial mash brews over extract or steeping grain brews or extract only? In other words, he's asking me, what are the differences I've noticed? He didn't say all grain. He doesn't want to know what the difference between all grain and partial extract brewing. He wants to know how much of a difference adding grains does. Basically doing a mini mash or a partial extract with grains. And that's a tough question because, it depends on the beer. I mean, I've had some partial extract or mini mash beers that tasted just like a beer kit to me. But I've had some beer kits that have tasted as good as a partial extract or mini mash. But in general, you're going to get a better flavor from using fresh ingredients, So combining a beer kit like a Cooper's or a Muntins or whatever brand you buy and adding some grains to it, and I've done this on my YouTube channel a few times, so you can, I'll try to find some links for you, put them down below if I can. You're going to get, you're going to get a fuller beer, better body, possibly better head retention, and you're going to be more proud of it because you did it yourself. You added your own stuff to it, and it's fun. So, my opinion, I have not gone back to kit and kilo since I've been doing partial extracts and mini mashes. I will continue to do those as my staple way of brewing. That's my main way of doing it. Okay, this guy says, and I don't have names here. I've just put the messages themselves. I like a light type of beer. What beer kit would you suggest starting with? I'm going to buy 5-gallon starter kit soon, and what kind of bottles? Okay, he wants to know what kind of beer and what kind of bottles. Okay, so the beer kit, if you can get a Cooper's Canadian Blonde, I would try that first. It's a very light tasting beer, very unobtrusive, and it will probably taste a lot like what you normally would buy at this beer store, except it's got more grains in it than your store-bought beer. So it might not taste exactly like the stuff you normally buy. It'll taste more like a malty beer, but very light and very unobtrusive. So that's the Cooper's Canadian Blonde. The Cooper's Draft is another one. Not the Draft, sorry, the Lager. Excuse me. The Lager, the Cooper's Lager. Second puberty. Okay. Are two of the ones I would try. That's just off the top of my head. Or anything equivalent to those. Could I leave a brew to cold clear for a week after fermentation before racking it off for bottling? Or would the yeast drop out and die? That'd be no good to bottle. Okay, so this is something I've talked about and covered in a video. It does take a lot longer to carbonate your beer in bottles when you leave it in the secondary fermentation or even the primary fermentation for longer than a few weeks. I proved this, and it was, proven beyond the shadow of a doubt. I took the same batch of beer, I split it in half, or I split it in two little bottles. One got bottled clear, the other one I stirred all the sediment up into it, bottled that one as well. A week later, was it 2 weeks? I can't remember. We opened them both. The one that was clear was flat. The one that was not clear was carbonated. So you're gonna if you want to leave your beer in the to cold clear, and if you're gonna clear your beer before you bottle it, expect it to take a long time to carbonate. It's as simple as that. In my opinion, it's best for kegging. Clear your beer in a secondary or whatever way you're going to do it. Put it in a keg and force carbonate it. You got nice clear beer, no questions asked. If you're trying to bottle your beer and bottle condition it naturally, you need that yeast. And I might get arguments about this, but I'm telling you right now, this is my honest, forthright opinion. You need that yeast. And when you clear your beer, you're getting rid of a lot of it. It's falling down to the bottom. It's not dying, it's just got nothing left to eat. And so that's my opinion. The bottles, I like the swing top bottles myself. They're easy, they're quick, you don't have to buy caps. They're glass, which is nice. And you can cap them with one hand while you're filling with another. So that's my opinion there. Oh, this is a long one. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can. Currently, I have 3-gallon hard apple cider fermenting, as well as a 5-gallon Brewer's Best American Cream Ale in secondary. He wants to bottle the cider this weekend. He wants to carbonate it. How much dextrose or brown sugar should I use? He wants to know if he should put the sugar in each bottle or add it to the entire batch and then do it, all at once. You're doing 3 gallons of hard apple cider. Personally, I would just add it to each bottle right now until you get the proper formula. Okay? I mean, I know with beer, it's like 3/4 of a cup of dextrose to 5 gallons of beer, and then you bottle it, and then, it's basically carbonates. I don't know about 3 gallons of cider. Never done it. Don't know. You could always just, do the math and reduce it from 5 gallons to 3 gallons and take the sugar down that much, and try that. I've never done it before. So if it were me, I would just batch prime the bottles, or just prime each bottle, sorry, at first until you get, and then you can add that all up and say, okay, how many bottles there were and how many half teaspoons per bottle, and then figure out how much sugar that is, and then batch prime next time. Okay, let's move on. Can you put in Cooper's kits in any program? Oh yeah, well, Beersmith, I talked about this earlier, got a link down below that talks about this in a thread on 17crew.com. And the files are there that you can plug into Beersmith. Boom, tells you how to do it, everything. You're good to go. And so then you can brew with the Cooper's kits and you know exactly what you're getting. He was Christopher from Sweden, he says. Hello, Craig. Will you try to make 20% spirits with only fermented sugar in the future using turbo yeast? Yeah, I've done it. Somebody sent me a kit from the UK. It was basically this, but on a smaller scale. But eventually I want to do it. I just haven't got the turbo yeast. I have to travel somewhere to get it. So, but there's a lot of 20% spirits to deal with once you're done that. I basically do it on smaller batches, smaller, 2 gallon, 1 gallon, 3 gallon batches, because you don't know what the heck to do with that stuff after it's done. It doesn't taste very nice unless you add things to it at the end, and those things are little bottles of flavor things, can be expensive. Okay, Craig, what is your biggest home disaster? Okay, this isn't brew related, but that's fine. My biggest home disaster was back in 1987 when I lived at home, my parents' house, and there was a basement flood and I lost all of my vinyl records, and I had a few. All of my electronics equipment, my stereo speakers, and all the other speakers I collected. I collected speakers since I was a kid. Lost all of them. They all got ruined. And a camcorder that was $1,000, that got ruined. It was very bad. So that's that wasn't a good thing. We had insurance, but I couldn't replace the vinyl records by then because it was CDs by then, You couldn't get the vinyl anymore. So the second worst one, not that he asked, but was when I lost 5 gallons of beer all over the floor from a keg. It bled out all over the floor. 5 gallons of beer. That's the second worst disaster, a home disaster I've ever had. Hands down. Okay. Are you freezing your hard cider to stop the yeast action prior to drinking? I used to, yes. But now I'm using the Pat Max brewing caps, and no, I bottle condition to carbonate it. But yeah, if you want to get rid of clear it, get rid of the yeast and make it clear, then yeah, you freeze it for a couple days, you take it out, you thaw it out, you can siphon it, or you can just pour it right out of there and drink it. Okay, I have a video on that, by the way. It's called Hard Apple Cider Next Steps, it's called. There's a whole flow chart thing and everything I have on that one. Shows you what you can do. Are you feeling better? Are you doing to take going? It says doing, but I assume he means going. Are you doing to take your hang on a sec. Your wife out for dinner? Go away. Keyboard came up on me here. You're going to take your wife out for dinner and a movie. What is your next home brew? I might. I don't know. We don't watch movies much, so probably not a movie. Movies are expensive. They're a ripoff. By the time you're out of there, it's $40, $50 later. So we don't go to many movies anymore. We used to. We've been married we've been together for quite a few years. So dinner, well, maybe. I cook for dinners all the time. But we'll see. Craig, what's my next home brew? I'm not sure. Probably the milk stout that I'm going to do. Craig, Hambone wants to know why you switched your broadcast from Justin.tv to VonLive.tv. Basically because Justin TV was having some server issues, and I just don't want to deal with that. So I switched to Vaughn for now, but I might switch back. There's no carved in stone place for me to broadcast. I'll always let you know when or where I'll be, and you can check both places on Friday nights. I'll be in one of them, okay? But JTV's had some issues lately, and until they fix them. Maybe they have already. I don't know. I don't think they have, though. I still hear complaints. Can you show your all-grain setup? Mash tun, hot liquor tank, sparge, arm, kettle. I know you prefer doing a partial mashes. So do I, he says. But I'm looking to build an affordable all-grain setup and would like your opinion. Thanks. Okay. I don't have liquor tank, sparge arm, kettles. I don't. Okay. I do my all-grain on the stove. And if you look in my channel and do a search, or just do a search on YouTube for CraigTube all-grain on the stove, you will find my all-grain video, and that's how I do it currently. And it works. It works wonderfully. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to spend a lot of money on all-grain equipment to do all-grain beer. It's as simple as that. Some people like to, and they have all these machines and things, and that's great. You know, it's a hobby. You get as deep into it as you like. My wife's got a friend over, so they're laughing up there. So that's what you hear. They're having a good time. That's good for them. Right, next. This video is going to be longer. I have a white wine bottle for about 3 months now, but has a sulfur smell to it. Will aging further help, or is it just going to stay like it? 3 months is quite a while for aging a bottle of just regular white wine made from grapes. And it still has that smell. I'd be a little concerned. Excuse me, I would. Something went wrong, I think. Maybe it was the yeast. You might have had a bad package of yeast. Wine rarely goes wrong when you make it, especially from the kits. Excuse me. Oh, there's one of those gross burps. Disgusting burps. Actually, that one was a little more disgusting than usual. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know the answer to that question. Good luck to you. Okay, this guy's got a headache. He gets headaches from certain batches of beer that he makes, but not others. Have I ever had a beer give me a headache, or you a headache, and do you have a diagnosis for this? I'm sorry, I don't. I have no idea. No, I've never gotten a headache from my home brew, ever. And I don't know why it would happen. I have no idea. Can you talk about how long stuff keeps, like shelf life, grains, hops, bottled beer, beer in kegs? Well, to put this in a nutshell, I don't know either. Hops, if they're frozen, maybe a year. Okay, if they're vacuum sealed. Grains, if they're not ground up yet, maybe 6 months to a year. I've had some for a year and a half. They still work great. The 2-row I've got, they still convert. So, but that's just me. It depends on how old they were when I bought them too, right? Hops, bottled beer, depends. It depends on how good your sanitation is, the style of beer, where you store it. Who knows? You know, I'll say a year. Okay, beer in kegs. If it's refrigerated and vacuum sealed and under pressure, and your sanitation is good, I'd say a year. I have not experimented with any of this stuff, so I don't know. Who has actually done these experiments? I don't know. And you'd have to do them over and over and over again, because one batch might last a year and one batch might last 3 months and go bad. So you'd have to take an average, and that would be hard to do. How does yeast impact the flavor of beer? I mostly use dry yeast, USO, it's off the screen, USO 5, a good general yeast for most beers. Or should you go fancy? Well, use what works and get your brewing practices down. Get your brewing techniques down first. Get consistency down. Make sure you can make the same batch of beer 3 times and have it taste the same every time, so that you got consistency, and then you can start messing around with different yeasts. Because you can change the yeast, and it might change the flavor, but you don't know whether that's the yeast or something you've done. So before you start messing around with yeast, because yeast is the hinge of the whole brewing process. It's what's doing the work, You got a bunch of guys chopping up rocks to make a, a driveway or something. It depends who's chopping up those rocks, right? How they're going to look and what size they're going to be and everything else. Everyone's got their own way of doing things. And yeast is like that. Okay? So I'm at 30 minutes. So I'm going to keep going. Okay? You can stop now and watch it in fast motion or something and let me know whether I sound better as Theodore or, whoever Munchkins those things are called. Theodore Elvin is the other guy? Yeah. Okay? You can watch these videos in fast motion, by the way, twice the speed and half the time. So a good book to try is The Practical Guide to Beer Fermentation. Sorry, it's called Yeast. The Practical Guide to Yeast Fermentation. Beer Fermentation. Maybe you should check that book out and see what you can learn from that. I'm not a yeast expert. Yeast does make a difference, absolutely, because of the different ways that different yeasts do what they do. But beyond that, you're going to have to do some more research about that. Hi, Craig. I'm having trouble getting a good taste with inmate apple juice. I'm using Lavlin. Some people say Lalvin. A lot of people do, actually. It's Lavlin. 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 1118. Any tips for back sweetening? You can, once the things, obviously you're getting a very dry product without a lot of sugar. What you do is you get some potassium sorbate, and if you're doing a 1 gallon batch, add like a pinch. If you're doing a 5 gallon batch, a couple teaspoons, and put it in there to kill the yeast. Give it 24 hours, or freeze the apple cider if you're doing it in small batches to kill the yeast. You have to kill the yeast. And then you can add sweetener to it, and it will stay sweet. It won't ferment anymore. Okay? Hi, Craig. Love all the vids you put out. Thank you. What's a good all-grain brew to do for a first all-grain batch? Just looking for one to get me started or get my feet wet. I don't have a specific recipe for you, but just do one that's got, let's say 2-row is your base malt, and say a second malt addition, like a Crystal 60 or Crystal something, right? And 2 hop additions, one at 60 minutes and one at, say, 5 minutes in the boil. Very simple, not a lot can go wrong. You're not going to get weird spiky flavors and stuff like that, and that's a good place to start. Okay? Move up. Oh, that's it. I'm done. I did it all in. Okay, good. We got all the questions. All right. So that's it. We did it in just about 30 minutes, and that was my plan. 33 minutes, and give or take a few. So that's it for the questions for this session. I will answer the other ones for you guys. You guys that got in a little bit later. I will answer them. I'll just do other videos randomly for the next week or two for you. Okay? Doesn't hurt to do it. Doesn't take a lot. I don't have to edit these things. And that's it for me for this Homebrew Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching. Please, this one's wrinkled. It fell off the hanger. But please, if you will, check out tgtshirts.com for the CraigTube shirts if you want one. They're there for you. Okay? And I think we're thinking about hats and aprons as well for Craig's Kitchen. The aprons, maybe. Could talk to Dave about that. Okay? So that's coming up, I think. We've talked about it before, him and I. So it's definitely something we can do. Okay? Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, vaughnlive.tv/CraigTube. Please check it out. Please come visit. And thank you for watching. Thank you for asking questions. I'll get to the rest of them in other videos. I promise. Craig's Kitchen. Promise. I just have to edit the thing. It's coming up. It's on the editing block. 17. That means cheers. Be safe.